Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the English edition. I'm Daniel Cook, your host, keeping you updated with the latest happenings here in Tirana and the surrounding area. In today's news, the Constitutional Court has rejected the proposal to establish a National Bureau of Investigation. According to the court, the Bureau would be incompatible with the Constitution, specifically the law on state police. Back on April 9th, the Democratic Party submitted a motion encouraging this very thing, claiming that creating a bureau would be unconstitutional. According to the Democrats, the bureau was intended to take power that belonged to the prosecution. The court's decision comes shortly after a recent announcement that the FBI would help with the establishment and functioning of a National Bureau of Investigation. Prime Minister Rama commented today on the issue of Albanians requesting asylum in the EU countries. The Prime Minister said that the groups that are promising asylum to Albanians are criminals and that the citizens should not believe what they say. He said that the European Union has made it clear that they will not provide economic asylum to Albanians, and he called the citizens not to fall prey to these scams. He said, "This is a big misunderstanding that is being exploited by criminal groups in order to manipulate people. They take money from people, telling them that Germany is looking for a number of people with different professions. This is a scam, and people must not fall prey to this," said Mr. Rama. The Prime Minister and the Member of European Parliament, Mr. Fleckenstein, participated in a seminar today on the path to European Union. Mr. Rama said that Albania has to follow the same path that the other European countries have traveled during their integration processes. He said that Albania must learn from the experience of the countries that have already made it to the EU. Mr. Fleckenstein said that Albania has a ways to go and that they must implement new reforms in order to progress toward the EU. He says that this process of reform is a responsibility that is shared by all. The EU ambassador to Albania, Rama Vlahutin, made the statement today that reforms must be made before Albania can enter the EU and not afterward. She said, "I always try to explain that the country will not change when it enters the European Union. The changes must happen before the country joins the EU, and some of these changes are already happening." A few months ago, we conducted a poll to learn the public opinion, and 47% of Albanians said that their country is not ready to join the EU yet. 6% of them think that the EU should accept Albania, even though it is not ready. This leads us to explain once again that the country must undertake a number of changes in order to be an equal and competitive member of the European Union. This is the most important part of the process, the EU ambassador said. Present at a regional workshop, Ambassador Vlahutin called the civil society to be more involved in the local level, including political debates. The role of the civil society is essential not only for enlargement process, but also for the functioning of the democracy, she said. "We encourage daily cooperation with the central and local government, but especially the local government because the real changes will be made there. I would ask you to engage as much as you can at the local level. What we really believe is the most important in this context is the full participation of the civil society in political debate and in politics in general," Ambassador Vlahutin said. The Assembly Speaker, Ilir Meta, commented today on the candidates who will be running for the local elections. Meta said that the socialist selection for Tirana mayor was a very prominent candidate, and he praised the independent candidates as well. He added that he also has a good opinion of the Democratic candidate, Halim Kosova. He said, "It is going to be a very interesting and democratic competition. I praise the initiative of the independent candidates. Their courage must be acknowledged." Mr. Meta also expressed appreciation for the prosecution and their commitment to investigating accusations against the candidates. He said that the local elections of June 21st are going to be historical for Albania because for the first time, Albania will be represented by 61 municipalities, thanks to the new territorial division. Albania's Interior Minister, Minister Tahiri, is currently participating in a regional conference on the fight against terrorism in Macedonia. Many of the region's interior and justice ministers are in attendance at the meeting, which is scheduled to be held over 2 days' time. During today's session, Mr. Tahiri said that acts of terrorism are a threat not only to the security of the Balkan countries, but also to the values in which we all believe. Minister Tahiri said that the region must join forces in order to fight organized crime. He said, "Cooperation between us is important. We need to share information and to join forces to combat organized crime. We need to investigate unjustified assets and, most importantly, to combat violent extremism. The criminals are faster than us. They collaborate more quickly than we do. They do not recognize borders and bureaucracy. For this reason, we must fight the bureaucracy and the obstacles that stand in the way of effective cooperation between us," said Mr. Tahiri. It appears that the negotiations between the Democratic Party and its ally, the Demo-Christian Party, are not going well. The head of the Demo-Christian Party, Ndoka, has accused the Democratic chairman, Lulzim Basha, of not being serious with his allies. Meanwhile, the head of the Demo-Christian Party in Leja announced that he will be running for mayor himself as the representative of his party. He said that they did not agree with the Democrats on a common candidate and that the Democratic Party has not taken their contributions into consideration. "We will consult with our party leader," he said, "and we will consider the possibility of going alone in these elections." Mr. Ndoka stated that reaching an agreement with the Democratic Party is an impossible mission for now. He implied a return to the partnership with Rama. In the current conditions, the cooperation with the Socialist Party is a forced choice. "We have cooperated with the Socialist Party before, and the cooperation has been fruitful," said Mr. Ndoka. The Demo-Christian Party and the Democratic Party were not able to reach an agreement about several electoral areas, especially for several municipalities in the north. On Monday, the Foreign Minister Dietmar Bushati will be meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. John Kerry. Ora News sources have confirmed that the meeting between Bushati and Kerry has been scheduled. They have learned that the focus of the meeting will be bilateral cooperation and the strengthening of strategic cooperation between Albania and the United States of America. That concludes our news for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please join us again tomorrow for more Albanian news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.